or lease in the morning.
The truth exposed.
No lies composed.
This is 95.7 Home Radio. Good morning, Cebu, the Philippines, and the whole world. Thank God it's Friday. Today is February 20, 2026. This is Christian Luis Panyol.
And this is Sheldon Garabio, serving you the hottest and the latest news.
For the headlines.
For the local news, DepEd 7 continues to establish temporary classrooms in Cebu schools, hit by 6.9 quake. Cebu education faces classroom shortage and safety concerns. Cebu City students face tech hurdles during sudden shift to hybrid learning for ASEAN Summit.
For the national news, EdCom2 report sharp decline in student proficiency across grade levels. Government approves historic 1.34 trillion education budget for 2026. February 12, 2026, teacher workload and staffing issues impact education delivery.
For the international news, UNESCO and UNICEF raise alarm over global learning poverty crisis. Global surge in classroom smartphone bans to combat digital distraction. UNESCO IBE launches new global guidelines for curriculum alignment.
DepEd 7 continues to establish temporary classrooms in Cebu schools hit by 6.9 quake. Here's Janlan Povadora for the details.
The Department of Education 7 is building temporary learning spaces or TLS in earthquake-damaged schools to ensure classes can continue. DepEd 7 Regional Director Salustiano Jimenez announced that these TLS will serve as an interim classrooms while permanent school buildings are repaired or rebuilt. Initial assessments show that 755 classrooms were totally damaged, 1,252 sustained major damage, and 2,631 had minor damage across Cebu, including Bantayan and Camotes Islands. The repair and reconstruction costs are estimated at nearly 4 billion pesos. We'll keep you updated as this story develops. Stay tuned to your favorite radio station for more updates. This is Jeneline Povadora reporting.
Cebu education faces safety concerns among students. Here's Eloise Gabutan for further details.
A viral video showed students traversing a slope along a heavily flooded creek to get to school in Barangay Lusaran last February 10. This has raised concerns over students' safety and the need for timely class suspensions during severe weather. Mayor Nestor Archival announced a meeting with all barangay captains this coming February 19, prioritizing student safety during inclement weather. The city is also coordinating with the Cebu City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office to assess conditions across different barangays better. Compounding these issues, Cebu's education system is grappling with a shortage of 3,000 classrooms and inadequate ventilation in many schools, made worse by recent disasters that led to class suspensions. To address these challenges, Mayor Archival is considering a disaster council permit to formalize guidelines for suspending classes during adverse weather. The goal is to create safer, more resilient learning environments for all Cebuano students. Stay tuned for your favorite radio station for more updates. This is Eloise Gabutan reporting.
Cebu City students face tech hurdles during sudden shift to hybrid learning for ASEAN Summit. Here's Nicole Arong for details.
On January 28 and 29, students in Cebu City face a rapid transition as schools like the University of the Philippines Cebu and University of San Carlos move to online classes. This temporary shift has highlighted a significant issue, our reliance on digital infrastructure. Many students struggle with internet access, underscoring the digital divide in our community. While the move aimed to ensure the safety and smooth operation of ASEAN Summit, it also spotlighted the need for better internet access and tech resources for our students. Stay tuned to your favorite radio station for more updates. This is Nicole Arong reporting.
Don't change your dial. We'll be right back with more news after these reminders.
Hey lovebirds, ever feel like your romantic spark is more broken down jeepney stuck in Mandawi traffic than sports cars zooming down the South Road properties? Well, say hello to Dried Max Capsule, the food supplement that rubs up your love hormones like a well-tuned engine. No more staring at each other like you're both stuck at a red light that'll never turn green. No more I'm too full from Lechon Kawali's excuses after dinner. Just more butterflies, more hand-holding, and affection so deep you'll think you're cuddled up in a habal-habal on a perfectly smooth road. Dried Max Capsule, because great partnerships deserve a little extra fuel. Get your love life in high gear. Find Dried Max at leading pharmacies near you in Cebu and beyond. Now we're back and you're still listening on 95.7 Home Radio. For the national news, EDCOM 2 reports sharp decline in student proficiency across grade levels. Here's Lady Jane Rosalejos for more information.
Education officials and policy experts are raising serious concerns over persistent learning gaps among Filipino students. On January 30, 2026, the Second Congressional Commission on Education, or EDCOM 2, released findings highlighting a significant decline in student proficiency as learners advance through grade levels. EDCOM 2 Executive Director Dr. Carol Marque emphasized that the data reflects a systematic weakness in foundational learning, particularly in reading and mathematics. The Commission's raised concerns over practices commonly referred to as mass promotion, where students move to higher grade levels without fully mastering essential competencies. The Commission's 10-year education reform roadmap proposes strengthened early grade literacy programs, improved assessment system, curriculum streamlining, and enhanced teacher support to address the long-term learning crisis. This is Lady Jane Rosalejos reporting.
Government approves historic 1.34 trillion pesos education budget for 2026. Here's Lani May Jaime for further details.
On January 8, 2026, under the administration of Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the national government approved a historic of 1.34 trillion allocation for the education sector, the largest in Philippine history. The Department of Education, led by Secretary Sani Angara, confirmed that more than 1 trillion pesos of the allocation will directly support basic education programs. Funding priorities include classroom construction, facility upgrades, school feeding programs, teacher hiring, training initiatives, textbooks, and digital learning tools. Despite the record allocation, the department reported an estimated backlog of approximately 165,000 classrooms nationwide. Overcrowding and shifting schedules remain prevalent in many public schools, particularly in high-density urban areas and underserved provinces. Education stakeholders stress that effective implementation, transparency, and monitoring mechanisms are essential to ensure that increased funding translates into measurable improvements in school infrastructure and learning outcomes. This is Lani May Jaime reporting.
Teacher workload and staffing issues impact education delivery. Here's Jenki Pino for more details.
Education leaders have acknowledged that teacher workload and staffing shortage remain significant challenges affecting classroom instruction nationwide. On February 12, 2026, Education Secretary Sani Angara stated that while reforms are underway, many public school teachers continue to handle administrative tasks beyond their primary teaching responsibilities.
These tasks include paperwork, reporting requirements, and non-instructional assignments, which contribute to fatigue and reduce the time available for lesson preparation and student engagement. The Alliance of Concerned Teachers has reiterated its call for additional teacher hiring, salary improvements, and a reduced clerical workload. The group emphasized that addressing teacher welfare is essential to improve learning outcomes. Although the 2026 National Education Budget includes funding for new teaching position and professional development programs, stakeholders stress that systemic reforms, including workload policy review, mental health support, and sustained investment in teacher training, are necessary to ensure that educators can effectively fulfill their core instructional responsibilities. This is Jinky Marie Pino reporting.
Time check, it's 9:45 a.m. This segment is brought to you by Lenshi Food Supplement, the all-in-one helper that supports healthy weight gain, balances sleep patterns, and keeps your hormones in harmony.
You are still tuned in 95.7 Home Radio. Let's continue with international news.
UNESCO and UNICEF raise alarm over global learning poverty crisis. Here's Lorilyn Diaz for further details.
Global organizations UNESCO and UNICEF have raised alarm over the fact that nearly 70% of children in low-income nations cannot understand a simple written story by the age of 10. They are warning that too many children are being left behind. UNESCO strongly advises governments to bridge a $97 billion annual financial gap to reach a 2030 education targets and make sure every child gets a chance to learn. This is Lorilyn Diaz reporting.
Global surge in smartphone bans to combat classroom distraction. Let's hear from Gresha Rose Punay.
Schools across the country are taking a stand against digital distractions by implementing nationwide bans on smartphones in the classroom. Smartphones have become pervasive in school. In fact, more than 95% of U.S. teens own a device, with nearly half reporting excessive social media use in class. Experts warn that unregulated device use is not only hurting academic performance, but is also causing serious distress to students' mental health. The Paragon Health Institute points out that removing phones from schools, especially inside the classroom, can lead to a massive boost in students' learning and is equivalent to adding an extra hour of study per week, ensuring that every student can focus on their lessons without a constant pull of using social media. This is Krisha Rose Punay reporting.
UNESCO IBE launches new global guidelines for curriculum alignment. Here's Lorilyn Diaz for further details.
Education experts admit that many schools struggle to match their daily lessons with actual test students take. On February 12, 2026, the UNESCO International Bureau of Education stated that while this matching sounds simple, it is actually a very difficult and slow process to fix. Because of this gap, many students fail exams even if they attend class every day. UNESCO recommends guidance from Lauren Anderson's curriculum alignment to improve lesson test alignment. And it's easy to understand, but the actual process is complex and requires deep reform to be effective. This is the reason why global grades are not improving. While UNESCO is now providing new guides to help, leaders say that real change requires better training for teachers and total review of hours to test students and make sure lessons, teaching methods, and assessments all align to meet the global standards. This is Lorilyn Diaz reporting.
For the recap of today's hottest and latest news.
DepEd 7 continues to establish temporary classrooms in Cebu schools hit by 6.9 quake.
Cebu education faces classroom shortage and safety concerns.
Cebu City students face tech hurdles during sudden shift to hybrid learning for ASEAN Summit.
EDCOM 2 reports sharp decline in student proficiency across grade levels.
Government approves historic 1.34 trillion pesos education budget for 2026.
February 12, 2026, teacher workload and staffing issues impact education delivery.
UNESCO and UNICEF raise alarm over global learning poverty crisis.
Global surge in classroom smartphone bans to combat digital distraction.
UNESCO IBE launches new global guidelines for curriculum alignment. This has been Krisha Luis Panyol,
And this is Sheldon Carabio. See you again next time for another segment of
The Truth Exposed.
No Lies Composed.
This is 95.7 Home Radio.